controversy on the route to Tour de France, and Sean Yates is literally pulled out of the leader's yellow jersey by the Dane Rolf Sørensen. The race referees reviewed the incident, which came near the end, and made their decision. Sørensen fined £250 and docked 20 seconds off the overall classification. But his teammate Johan Museeuw takes the overall lead. He now leads Yates by 6 seconds. Our other home rider, Chris Boardman, is 16th. Hello again and welcome to a busy start village here in Poitiers this morning. Now everybody wants to wear the leader's yellow jersey, and I don't really think Johan Museeuw needed any help, illegal as it was, to take the lead yesterday. But from Rolf Sørensen, it really was rather unbecoming for a rider of his stature. So Paul Showen this morning asked him just why he did it.
In the last sprint yesterday, you grabbed hold of Sean Yates. Why do you do that?
Well, the reason why I did it was because he did it first of me. He took my jersey. The day before, we were riding for Johan Museeuw in the last 15 Ks. And the Motorola team was really making, going into the corners before us. Museeuw was about to crash 2 times. And yesterday, before the sprint, Museeuw were doing the last sprint. And I just passed Sean Yates. He was in the wheel of Armstrong, and I took the wheel of Armstrong, and Sean took my jersey and pulled me away, and I took his jersey and pulled him back. So it was defense.
So you have no regrets. That's the way it is. And if you had to do it, you'd do it again.
No, I mean you make it sound that it's me who's done the wrong thing, but I was pulled by the jersey from Sean before he did it on me. So before I did it on him. So I feel sorry for Sean, but I mean, he started himself, so I can't regret anything.
Well, an unrepentant Rolf Sørensen this morning, as the 177 survivors of this tour prepare now to face up to another long day aboard their closest friends, their bikes. An early sprint during the 216 kilometres, taking the rise away from Poitiers down to Trelissac, and then no further obstacles until near the end, where there are 2 climbs and a couple of more sprints. And no hurry to move into action today either for the big pack. The riders, no doubt, a little bit preoccupied by the moment of truth tomorrow, the time trial. Nonetheless, Johan Museeuw is the new leader of the Tour as the field move away from Poitiers, although he must feel a little embarrassed about the controversy surrounding his new lead, taking it away from Sean Yates here. The finger still being pointed at Rolf Sørensen, who now lies in 23rd position overall after that small time penalty. And at the first sprint, which came after only 12 kilometres in La Ville-Dieu de Clain, Gianluca Bortolami was first, taking the 6 seconds bonus in front of Johan Museeuw, the leader, and the American Motorola rider Frankie Andreu. And as a result of that, Yates has now dropped back to 3rd overall behind Museeuw and Bortolami.
The weather couldn't be better today. Well, that's for the spectators at least. It's going to be in the low 30s with very light winds, but sun for the whole day.
Well, during the day today, Johan Museeuw, the race leader, has been involved in a crash. It was a tumble of some 12 riders, and then he was able to get back into the race with the help of his teammates and not too seriously hurt. And these are the 4 riders now as they start the climb, the last little climb of the day, the Côte de la Chapelle Notre Dame at 174 kilometres. And the riders in the lead are Luc Leblanc, Rolf Aldag, Angel Camargo and Bo Hamburger. And you know, this is an extraordinary breakaway because in fact Aldag or Leblanc at the moment could run out to the overall leaders on the day if they can hold around about 3 minutes 20 seconds of what is a 6-minute 50 breakaway just now.
It's going to be very tough, Phil, because the speed is really up high in the main pack at the moment, and that gap is really starting to fall. I don't think that we'll be able to have a change in the overall standings, but I think this group of riders, they may just stay clear and hold on to the stage victory. But there are a lot of teams in the main pack who really would like to get it back together today. In fact, Word Perfect are doing an excellent job. They've got nearly the whole team working on the front. We're here on the climb. It'd be interesting to see who goes for it.
I can only assume that we're perfect at trying to get the race back together again to launch Yekimov at the finish like we saw yesterday, because they don't have a sprinter on the team at all. Now, yesterday too, the abandon of one of their strong men, Frans Maassen, and that was indeed a great shame. It's the first time that he has failed to finish a Tour de France, and in fact, it was revealed last night, it's the first time in a long professional career he has ever given up in a race in his professional career. That is amazing, Paul.
It is. I was actually quite astounded to hear that myself, because most riders have abandoned a race sometime or another, but Masson, obviously extremely proud man, and he was very upset, I think, about having to withdraw from the Tour de France.
Well, the problem with Frans Masson, it was a boil in the most awkward of places for a cyclist, so you can work that out for yourself, and there's no way with that pain he could continue. These are the 4 riders, though, trying to go for gold today. Luc Leblanc riding his 4th Tour de France. His best finish was 5th in 1991, and that's the rider to the left of our picture. There he is, the king of the mountains in this year's Tour of Spain, and which he finished 6th overall. And you know, he knows these roads inside out, because he comes from the Dordogne, and we're racing very much towards where he lives in the Limousin area. Rolf Aldag, fine sprinter if he comes down to it at the end. Surprisingly, he's never won a stage in the Tour de France. He packs a great finish, though. Approaching now 44 kilometres from the end. That's about 26 miles. Angel Camargo, he won a stage in the Tour of Spain this year. And Bo Hamburger riding his 2nd Tour de France on the right. Probably best known by British viewers for his fine riding in the Kellogg's Tour of Britain a couple of years ago, when he was a young professional.
There's a time gap at the moment, 6 minutes 35 seconds, and I have a feeling that if Luc Leblanc hadn't been in this breakaway, there would have been no reaction from the main field. But this is a man who has been regarded as an overall contender for the Tour de France. I didn't consider him for this year's Tour, but you never know. If you give somebody 5 or 6 minutes lead, that can totally change the morale of the rider. And Leblanc has been looking for a good ride for the last couple of years. He rode exceptionally well this year in the Tour of Spain by taking 5th place overall, but also he took the King of the Mountains classification, so he's obviously in good shape, and that is why there's been a reaction from the main field.
Well, he's gone over the top of the Côte de la Chapelle Notre Dame in 1st place, ahead of the 4 escapers, and the French are desperate for a result on a stage of the Tour this year. They've had nothing at all so far, and he could be coming from a strange quarter. Luc Leblanc riding for the Festina team, which comes out of Andorra. This is the counter-attack, or hopefully the chase. Caught a glimpse there of the young man in the race, Leon Van Bon, riding his 1st Tour de France at 23 years of age. But we can see now the word perfect, trying to readdress the situation, and they still have the time to launch Yekimov yet towards the finish. We'll take a break.
Will call.
Welcome back to stage 8 of the Tour. You know, it was on this stage a year ago that Lance Armstrong announced his arrival in the pro peloton with a win on the road to Verdun. And since then, of course, he's become a major star in Europe. But hard though it is to believe when you see him surrounded by fans or photographers at the start line every morning, there are places where he's hardly known at all. Austin, Texas, for example, which happens to be Lance's hometown. Mention the hottest name in the English-speaking world of cycling here, though, and this is the reaction you're likely to get. If I said the name Lance Armstrong to you, what would you associate it with?
Doesn't ring a bell at all.
No idea. Tile floors.
Tile floors?
Armstrong tile floors.
Lance Armstrong? Doesn't mean anything to me.
If I said the name Lance Armstrong to you, what would you associate it with?
Bicycle racing.
Congratulations, the first today.
Thanks.
Thank you. In a culture driven almost exclusively by the internal combustion engine, Lance Armstrong, even out on a training run with fellow star Raul Alcala, is just another face in the Texas traffic. And as far as he's concerned, that's fine.
I like to spend time here. I think this is a very relaxing place for me, especially. I can come here, I can get away from a lot of things and be myself, do whatever I want, really.
Most of what Lance wants to do in his spare time involves speed. If he doesn't break the local 55-mile-an-hour limit in his prized Japanese sports car, he comes close on Lake Austin. Hey, do Motorola know you're out here doing this?
Don't tell you. Oh, man, that was fantastic. Orgasmic.
Lance made almost as spectacular an impact in his first year as a pro, winning $1 million triple in the US, most of which he says he hasn't seen, then taking that stage win in his debut Tour de France. The dream season was capped off with victory at the World Championships in Norway, which Lance celebrated Texas style.
I think that the people that were there really enjoyed it. I mean, it's good for cycling to have sort of a showman. If everybody came across the line and had nothing to say, had no show to them, well, then nobody would watch.
Being world champion brings the kind of attention from the European press that Lance usually goes home to Austin to escape. But if he thinks having to wear a cowboy hat and being photographed with local celebrity Bevo the Bull is so much bull byproduct, he's gracious enough to cooperate and strong enough not to get distracted from his main goal, which is more success in the Tour.
I'd like to improve my time trials. It's something that I've sort of set out as a weakness, and I'm trying to improve that. If I could improve there, then I would be very happy. A stage win. I'll be disappointed if I leave without a stage win.
Well, Lance hasn't had the stage win so far, and with the approach of the mountains, which aren't really his natural environment, he's quickly running out of chances. Overall, though, he's having a great tour, placed 8th in the general classification. And on the subject of the GC, I know no one on the Motorola team was happier to see Sean Yates in yellow than Lance, who's benefited from so much of his hard work. All right, back to the race on the road now as it heads south from Poitiers to Trelissac.
Well, thanks, Gary. Well, in fact, we're now approaching the last time bonus sprint of the day at 206 kilometres covered. The same 4 riders are still clear. And this is going to be a crucial sprint, because if they hang on to the lead they've got, which at the moment is 5 minutes and 17 seconds, then the yellow jersey might well depend on the winner of this sprint between Luc Leblanc and Rolf Aldag. Aldag's the rider here from Telecom on the right-hand side, nearest the picture. At the moment, Leblanc is behind him, and that's why he's chasing him. Aldag goes for the sprint. He's a very good finisher. Leblanc, I don't think, will match him. And on the line, it's Aldag takes the valuable 6 seconds ahead of Luc Leblanc and Bo Hamburger. And that was the order over the line.
That was definitely the thing to do there. Aldag didn't actually take too much of an advantage in the first sprint now, and it's going to be extremely important if these riders can stay away, because the 20 seconds bonus on the finish line could decide, if these riders finish more than 3.5 minutes clear of the main field, who the yellow jersey is going to go to tonight. The difference now between Rolf Aldag on the far side in the pink and Luc Leblanc is actually down to 6 seconds, so it's going to be very, very close, and Aldag is much more the superior sprinter of the two men.
But Leblanc has been the powerhouse of this breakaway. It went clear soon after leading the feeding station, where they don't stop, by the way, for viewers new to cycle racing. They go through and snatch their little bags of food and keep going. Well, during that period, these 4 riders decided to attack at the same time, and they went clear. They've built a maximum lead of 8 minutes 10 seconds. The last time check we had was 5 minutes and 17 seconds. The majority of the chasing being done by the Dutch Word Perfect team, but they're not chasing it down quick enough. I think it's almost certain to say now they won't catch them before the line, but of course if they get inside that magic 3 minutes 20 seconds, then of course they'll have saved the day for Johan Museeuw. And it's still coming down. 4 minutes 57 seconds at 15 kilometers now from the finish. Now, Paul, can they hang on to 3 minutes 20 seconds?
Well, it's a very tough course towards the end, and it may well be that they could lose in the next 20 kilometres. They could easily lose 1 minute for each 10 kilometres of the race. So I think it's going to be really up to the performance of the main field behind, because these riders are all contributing to the breakaway, to the success of it. Every one of them is taking their turn. But all that could be a negative thing for the 4 riders here is if Luc Leblanc and Rolf Aldag start to play a negative watching game, because they know that the yellow jersey could go to one or other of them.
There's the leader. Had a little bit of a problem today when he fell earlier on, but no sign of any visible scars there. And right behind him, the man who wants that yellow jersey off his shoulders tomorrow in the time trial. A scene very similar to a year ago when Museeuw had it and passed it over to Miguel Indurain in the time trial. But it now looks, Paul, a very familiar scene. The long, thin line of the Tour de France being drawn to the finish by the team of Johan Museeuw. 5 kilometers to go. That's all that remains. It's a little bit hilly towards the line, but nothing too bad as they climb up to the first time finish ever here in Trelissac.
For now, as we get nearer to the finish, you can see that It was no longer the whole of the breakaway that is starting to do the work. It's no longer the TVM rider Bo Hamburger or Camargo from Kelme who are actually contributing as much as they were before to this breakaway. And now is a very difficult time for those riders because the group will start to slow down. They'll be thinking about the stage victory, and all the time the GBMG boys at the back here have got the pressure on.
Well, there's the man at the centre of the controversy. He's now going to the front to get his team out of trouble. Rolf Sorensen driving the pack along here and doing it with great effect, I think. He's a terrific bike rider, you know, Sorensen, and he's won some of the world's best classic races. And indeed, he led the Tour de France a couple of years ago as well. And that picture gives you an idea just how pretty it is here in France. The riders now head down the back roads indeed. They're bypassing Périgueux. We'll be down there tomorrow as they race down to the finish in Trelissac.
May well be that the GBMG boys at the front here have timed it just to perfection, because it really is coming down quickly. 3 kilometers for the leaders. It's going to be very close on the line. They're boring down, but now at the front of the pack now, they're starting to maneuver a little bit to finesse because they're trying to think about the stage victory. And there are two riders here who've really got to forget all about winning the stage today. Two riders, Luc Leblanc and Rolf Aldag, have got to totally bury themselves just to keep 3 minutes and 20 seconds ahead of the main field.
Well, they do get the bonus of 20 seconds, so we maybe it's very difficult to work out as we're not computers here on the finishing line, but I think if he can get in just over the shade over 3 minutes, that one of them, the man that won the day, would take the yellow jersey. But the bunch will continue to come at them, that's for sure. And Camargo seems to be sitting off the back here now. He's either trying to prepare for a sprint away, or he is in a little bit of trouble. But now you can see the pace behind as the main field chase them down. Everybody keeping out away of the GBMG team, who will now continue to set the pace. The man in yellow is nicely placed down there doing nothing, but I'm afraid he's not going to contest the finish either today. One of these four riders will certainly win the stage.
Well, just as they went under that last banner there, my clock told me it was 3 minutes and 30 seconds, but unfortunately I couldn't tell whether it was the 10-kilometer banner or not, because we had a look back from the motorbike there.
2 kilometers to go for four riders now, still trying to survive by the skin of their teeth. They need about 3 minutes and 10 seconds on the line, plus the bonuses for one of them to take the leader's yellow jersey. And it's looking increasingly doubtful they'll hang out to finish with that sort of time advantage. At one stage they were 8 minutes 10 seconds ahead, and it's been a long hot race today, especially for this rider Luc Leblanc, who is a man of the region and knows the roads well. He wants some help now. Aldag gives it to him. Bo Hamburger goes through, but as you can see, the little Colombian at the back, Camargo, has had enough. No more work for him.
Well, you can see the fire really has gone out of these four riders now, and that is because the two riders, Hamburger and Camargo, have stopped working a little bit because they're thinking about winning the stage victory. And you can almost feel the difference in speed every time we go back to the main field and see how fast they're going. The difference is absolutely visible. And I think it may well be that these four riders, they're going to finish up with about 2.5 minutes, because the speed is really incredible at the back of the pack there. And there goes Camargo.
That's why he sat at the back. He was not tired at all. He saw the red kite. 1 kilometer to go. Hamburger chases him, so the two men vying for the yellow jersey are now left to fight out third and fourth. Now Leblanc will be happy with that, because of course the two big bonuses of 20 seconds and 12 seconds are now up the road, and the 6 seconds separating Leblanc here from Aldag. That's what he wanted, but now he needs the time as well over the main field. And in fact, the man who lives in the area, he comes from France of course, would be the yellow jersey tonight.
Well, I think that would have been the case, but I think this kind of tactic now has blown that out of the window, because behind the time is coming down quite rapidly. The race has gone away and they're playing around with the yellow jersey at the moment. These two riders really are throwing away, I think, the possibility of taking the yellow jersey off the shoulders of Johan Museo. This is the race at the front. It's going to be between the little Colombian rider and Bo Hamburger, who's got a little bit more experience.
Well, Hamburger, you're right, has a little bit more, but that's about it. And I can't believe that either of them could possibly be a stage winner in the Tour de France today, but that really is now a real possibility. Bo Hamburger, he came as a very talented rider, and he's now going to try and take his first stage victory. He's got the slipstream of Angel Camargo. The other two are coming up to the line too, but not quick enough, I don't think. And now Bo Hamburger's racing for the victory. The TVM team that needed quite a big fillip. They've had a lot of bad luck, and he's shot away to the finish. And so they get their victory now. It was with Jesper Skibby last year on a similar finish. Now they've got it with Bo Hamburger, followed by Camargo. Aldag predictably gets third. But I think, and it depends on the clock now, but it's the man who finished fourth, if we get over 3 minutes, who will take the leader's yellow jersey, and that's Luc Leblanc, and we don't think he can do it. So here's the bunch now, closing in on the line. There's the gap on the left of the picture on the winner, don't forget, not on the other two. And so they're not going to see a change of yellow jersey after all of that today. Andreas Perron is the rider leading off for Poitiers. And they're hoping that very soon their little green jersey figure of Abdu Japrov will finish off by taking 5th place. Silvia Martinello is there too, and so too is the sprinter from the Nicola Minali is also here, the rider who won down in Portsmouth. He's coming good now. What a confidence he's built since that victory in Portsmouth a few days ago. Martinello, Gerada's coming through as well, and Jan Gerada on the line was very, very close, but it was also the other sprinter there of... and the gap, by the way, 2 minutes 10 is what we make it on the line on the bunch, so they fail by about 1 minute and 10 seconds. But Emmanuel Magnon, I think, was the rider who pipped Jan Zverada right on the line. So the TVM team get their first success of the Tour de France with Bo Hamburger ahead of Angel Camargo, Rolf Aldag and Luc Leblanc. The main field led home by Emmanuel Magnon ahead of Jan Zverada, 2 minutes 16 seconds back. On the podium tonight, a delighted Bo Hamburger of Denmark punches the air for his first ever stage win in a Tour de France. Overall, Johan Museeuw lost a second of his overall lead. He's now only 5 ahead of Gianluca Bortolami. Sean Yates drops back to 3rd, 10 seconds down. Frankie Andreu comes up to 4th, and Flavio Vanzella is 5th. Well, surprisingly, Johan Museeuw kept his lead in the Tour de France today, and here he is talking with Paul Sherwin.
It's been a very hard first week for you. Do you think there are a lot of riders in the Tour de France tired already?
I think so. Everybody is tired, but everybody say they're riding too fast, but everybody riding fast, so it's every day the same. Just the Tour de France, and every year it's more and more.
Last question. This is just a little bit like last year. Going into the time trial, you had the yellow jersey. Who's your favourite tomorrow night to take the yellow jersey?
Oh, I have one favourite. That's Miguel Renderain. He is very strong. He always in the 10 first place of the group. Maybe on second place Rominger, and then Las Cuevas.
And Johan Museeuw?
Far behind.
Well, with the team time trials tomorrow, Miguel Indurain, lying 7th, is now poised perfectly to take the overall lead in the Tour de France. But let's not forget Chris Boorman, who beat him in Lille and could do it again tomorrow. Now, we've had thousands of entries for our competition today, and we admit we're having difficulty finding one that's named Bo Hamburger. So we will give you the name of the competition winner tomorrow night in our programme, which comes to you at 8 o'clock. Until then, goodbye.